nation at large. We'll talk about it as we go along.
Raghav?
Hi everyone, I'm Raghav Agarwal. I'm one of the co-founders of Fluid AI. At Fluid, we really are encouraged that AI can add $1 trillion to the 5 trillion Indian economy. We build agentic AI systems which are teammates to businesses, to enterprise on their challenges as they go ahead. And not just for enterprise, it can be for any kind of organization out there. On our journey from a 2-person startup, we had the fortune to build Warren Buffett's AI avatar way back in 2017. We also wrote the world's first AI-written book called Bridging the AI Gap. And we love innovating. We now have 3 patents granted both in the US and India on our technology.
Abhinav?
Hi everyone. This is Abhinav. I'm one of the co-founders at Fluid AI along with Raghav. So our journey, was quite an interesting one. So both of us were actually finance guys. And so I was a CA, Raghav was a CFA. But we had this tremendous passion for AI and technology. And that kind of got us on the journey of, learning how to code. So both of us were self-taught. And then in 2012, we were one of the winners at the world's largest technology competitions, the TechCrunch Disrupt Hackathon. And that's what prompted us to come back home, build an AI company. And in that journey, Raghav dropped out of IIM Ahmedabad, I dropped out of ISB Hyderabad. And it's been our vision to now make agentic AI available to everyone, accessible to Indians and globally enterprises all over the world. And yeah, that's how it's been going. It's been exciting as of now.
Great. So I have a young panel of entrepreneurs. And so just to give you a perspective, let's just take a step back. In 1975, we had connected up to 1 billion places with rail, with road, with air, with water. And you could sell the access production of one place to another. And that was literally the peak of the industrial economy, okay? By 2009, we had connected to 1 billion people with internet, with social media, with emails, and you could sell the access knowledge of one person to another. And that was, the height of, or starting the height of knowledge economy that we have actually grown up with. By 2030, we will have 7.5 billion people connected with 30 billion machines, which will be intelligent in nature. And that will form the core of what we call as the intelligence economy. And truly, let me just share with you that we haven't really understood, what would be the economic potential of that. Of course, PwC research says that we would be uncovering $15.7 trillion of new economic value. And that's a massive number. Right now we are at 3.4 trillion or so as a country. Now imagine there is a new economic value that is there for us to explore. And I know Vishwasji was talking about that, the whole of India, can actually progress. However, in case of machines, they have, only humans believe in this abstract notion of nation. Machines don't. So you could go beyond. So the great thing is that India is very young. We are going to have 900 million people in this demographic potential. Now, if we can encourage each one of them to augment themselves with AI, we could truly be a superpower in all senses, not just economically, but in other areas as well. So just to give you a perspective, while this new economic, value of $15.7 trillion is available to everyone to exploit, it's a big opportunity. It's not just that it is going to be in one sector, let's say healthcare or in education. It is going to be cutting across all the sectors. So in literally every single vertical will be getting reinvented with AI. So you can see the opportunity is massive. So I'll quickly go around and ask each one of panelists, how do they perceive the opportunity? Some of them are already working with customers. They're working with not just customers in India, but they're working with customers globally. And I would actually ask them to give a quick glimpse of what that opportunity looks like. So I would start with Abhinav. and maybe ask him to quickly, sum up in a minute or so, like what kind of opportunities you are seeing around the globe, and some of them you are actually uncovering as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think in India, we're at this, very, very exciting cusp of, having almost the availability of abundant knowledge, right? So when you look at what AI does, right, there are two things that the world runs on, right? The scarcity of knowledge and then the scarcity of capital. So the scarcity of knowledge is why we go to a doctor, why we go to a lawyer. And suddenly you're going to live in a world that now has abundant knowledge available, right? That's what a language model or a generative AI system enables. And imagine empowering 1 billion or 1.4 billion people with that abundant knowledge, right? The impact that it can create is truly going to be phenomenal. And I think that's what excites. I think there's an estimate that as India becomes a $5 trillion economy, $1.5 trillion of that is going to come driven by AI. That's how important it is. And we're seeing it across, when you look at manufacturing that's looking at building smart factories, right, that are AI enabled, so helping keep the uptime high, helping production be debottlenecked. Whether you're looking at customer support centers and sales centers getting enabled by AI to be much faster, much more enabled. Or whether you look at organizations just having agentic AI to go ahead and build a CEO's office, right? A team of AI agents that are handling an enterprise. Suddenly you'll see that next generation of entrepreneurs from India, right? A team of small 5, 10 individuals. They're going to be able to create a company that looks like it's 10,000 people, 1 lakh people. I think that potential is phenomenal.
Yeah, just to add to that, right? Like I think, India, the startups has exploded. But what AI is going to do, right? Like as a country, we almost missed the industrial revolution. We caught up in the IT revolution. I think AI revolution, we can definitely lead it. Because like Abhinav said, right, a 5-10 person team enabled by the right AI agents can now operate at a global scale, can operate at 200, 500 million, even $1 billion ARR is now close to these very small teams. And I think that entrepreneurship explosion is going to happen in India enabled by AI because like Abhinav said, the abundance of knowledge, the abundance of intelligence is now within grasp.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, we have heard this data is the new oil. I think we have been hearing this for the last maybe a decade. I've heard this in the last 8 years. So I think that's not true. Data is not the oil. Data is kind of crude oil. I think we need good AI systems and good people to actually make this oil usable. And that's true. Data is the raw material for any AI system. And who can produce more raw material in AI, which is data? I think country other than India. So by the virtue of the population we are, right? So we produce data by just living life, right? I keep saying that again and again. We are here, we are producing data, content. Even you are producing data because you are still here. Few people are not because you're interested probably in hearing this. So the data is being created. So I think it's a matter of just using it in the right form. Yes, we keep hearing there are resource crunch. I was just having the green room discussion. I think that's not true. There are still GPUs available with infrastructure providers. Enough of GPUs, enough of technology. I think let few people like us continue building the technology platform. And I think majority of us should solve problems. The technology is already there. Of course, we'll keep upgrading as a technology, as a platform, as a solution. But the technology is out there. Just think big. Pick up the big problem to solve and just go ahead and solve it. And other good thing which has happened in this current era is we don't need to be technologists to actually create technology solutions. See earlier, even to use technology, if you remember 40 plus, 30 plus old guys, even to use technology, we had to go to computer course, right? Engineering to just use the computer. Now everyone can use the technology. I think now with no-code platform and the agentic AI platform, everyone literally be able to create technology solution without being technologist. I think go grab this opportunity. I think we will live in abundance.
No, I think it's a great summary of that. For the first time in the history, we are able to actually have English or whatever language that you're using as a programming language of choice for machines. So it's phenomenal. Just like the way we talk to a fellow human being, we can now talk to machines and we can ask it to do what we want it to do. And some of you must be playing around with ChatGPT and others, and that just gives you a glimpse of it, because chatbots, while they are incredibly useful, but they are just the beginning of this revolution. And so just to give you a glimpse of it, how did we create ChatGPT? I know it's a very generic audience, so we wanted to keep it not that much technical. So what we did was that we boiled the entire internet and we condensed it into a giant brain, and you could then query it form of asking questions, and that brain will respond with all the knowledge in the world at its fingertips, just like a human would if you manage to make it read all the text available in the world. So that is just the beginning. That's the ChatGPT. Now you must be reading about all these new models that are coming in. DeepSeek came out. So a whole bunch of them. They're actually going from what the whole revolution that started with this transformer models, creating what we call as large language models. Now we are getting the early part of the reasoning engines. So whether it is O1 or DeepSeek R1, you are seeing a lot of these reasoning engines come in. So just like a human being, when we start learning, we learn language, then we understand and learn how to reason with that language that we have learned. And then we go into more and more complex things. So, in future, a few years, you are going to see more complex things come up. One of them is actually what we call as agents. So now you're putting the giant brain inside some kind of personalities, and they would behave on their own. So let's say if it's a customer care agent, then it'll, if you go and ask it some question, it is going to reply. If it could be a sales agent, we're going to see, literally this year is going to be what we call as the year of agents. So you're going to see agents in literally all parts of an enterprise. And post that, what we are foreseeing is that you're going to take the agents and put it inside literally robots. And those robots, what we call as physical AI, will be actually then, working with us. And post that, of course, people are talking about, artificial super intelligence and other things, but we still have to glimpse it. My sense is that it's still, some time away, maybe, 5, 10, maybe more years. We don't know that. Of course, Hollywood and Bollywood are reaching more near to it. But it's an evolution. And I just wanted to quickly go across the panel and ask, what kind of early examples are you seeing when you're working with customers, and where are they in terms of that journey? I'll start with you, Ankush.
Yeah, I think it's kind of endless. See, we start with, say, one use case with one customer, and at peak we are doing 5 use cases for a customer. So literally there is an opportunity everywhere, whether it's about, if I talk about what are the few use cases or the areas which AI or Gen AI can help, the first one is customer experience, customer engagement. So wherever there is a company, there is engagement requirement, whether with the consumer or with the employees. The second in the list is revenue opportunities. The third is the cost optimization. The fourth is compliance. So any company, I think, needs to go to these functions.
Maybe some of the customer names, if you can share, so that people will.
Of course. So LIC, we're doing a lot of work with LIC. Ask Mitra is powered by Core over Bharat GPT. People can compare the plans, look out for the right policy for them, pay the premium. IRCTC, people can speak and book the train ticket. We are, of course, adding more features to it, but you can literally speak, and then even the payment also happens with the voice, and PCI, and many more, right? We have around 11,000 accounts and 3,000 agents being created. So pick up any sector, any company, any function. there is an AI use case. But I was urge. I know the time is ticking. So instead of going from the use case to coming ready with a solution and say how to force fit it, I think the mindset should be the company, their vision, their KRAs, and their challenges, and then see where the AI can fit in. So go with the problem mindset first, and then map the AI solution. Because the use cases we have hundreds, but I think there we spend more time in force fitting the solution instead of going to this problem solution and then AI as an enabler.
Great advice, Ankush. Raghav, you want to?
Yeah, I think, so use cases, there are thousands of them. I think companies, organizations, governments, we need to reinvent the way they're working, right? Because you now have this powerful tool that re-energizes your organization. So when we go to our customers, whether it's a MasterCard, a Bank of America, or closer home, the government, or someone like Vodafone, we go and say that it's not about where it can be applied. It's about reimagining your business. So when we did the AI avatar for Warren Buffett, we reimagined the magazine, right? Because till then, a magazine was an interview of a journalist with a prominent personality. But when you create an AI avatar, anyone could ask Warren any question in the world, right? So that kind of experience where you reimagine a business, I think that will be a very powerful sort of paradigm when we go down this AI journey.
Yeah, I think, a really interesting example comes to my mind when you ask this question about use cases, right, and applicability. So in 1972, an Indian company imported the world's first mainframe supercomputer, right? And most people, when they think, okay, who would it be, right? You would think it would be a technology company, it would be a space research organization, someone in heavy tech. But it was actually Asian Paints, right? And they imported the IBM 1401. It cost them around 810 crores, right? In today's money value, so about $1 million back then. And everyone said, what will a paints company do with a mainframe supercomputer, right? And suddenly when they actually went into the market, right, they were the first to have a digitized inventory. They had about 10,000 SKUs of paints, and they would be able to send the paint to the distributor far before anyone else. So technology sometimes becomes, when you start at the use case level, you struggle sometimes to figure out the value. But when you go the reverse, like Raghav mentioned, right, I think the ability of now taking a large language model, giving it amazing intelligence, giving it the agency, and that's where the word agent comes from, right? Giving it the access to the right tools, the right functions, the right information in your organization. You can use it across almost every function of your organization, right? It's right from legal to management to manufacturing to support to IT to coding. Almost every sector is going to leverage these AI agents, and it's just about how fast you can deploy them to deliver value.
Yeah. So we can see that, while it's just starting, the reach is that it can go into every single function that you can see, whether you're looking at the enterprise use cases or consumer use cases. Now the big question comes in that, of course, these are tools and use cases that we're building on the top. But if AI is going to be like a fundamental utility, just like electricity or roads that we have, shouldn't India, just like the way we own the roads, right? Like we know the technology, how to lay the roads. Should we be owning the technology that is going to power literally the future for us, right? I mean, in some sense, we actually were, last week we were trying to estimate if we do not build our own technology ecosystem around AI, how much money we would lose over the next 25 years. And we realized that that could be as much as $15 trillion in next 25 years. And that is a real challenge. And I think fortunately the government has recognized that part, that while we are building these use cases, we also have to build the foundation models, and which is just the beginning, right? Eventually the whole technology spectrum from foundation model, compute, the data ecosystem, and also the research, we need to have our own pathway. And it's very important that we have that because, India is a very old civilization. We have more than 5,000 years of history, more than that. And at some level, we have seen in Kumbh Mela, right, that we literally are the cradle of humanity. Last year, we gave birth to 23 million, human babies. The next 5 countries all added together, they don't number 23 million. So in some sense, we have 230 million school-going kids, whereas in Japan, they're closing down primary schools. So literally the future of humanity actually emanates from India. So while, of course, US, you have this profit-seeking, companies which are driving AI. In China, you have, autonomous machines being in charge of semi-autonomous people. Can India show a new path? Maybe autonomous machines together with autonomous human beings. So what it would take for us to create our own ecosystem, while government with India AI mission is making massive strides. I just quickly wanted to go around the panel and ask, what is one piece of advice that you could give to the government or the fellow Indians here? What would that be?
I think there's no advice. I think I really want to thank and clap for our leadership. Have you ever heard about any government in the country giving you the infrastructure to build on it? So they are giving us GPUs free or highly subsidized, maybe around 25% of the actual MRP. So they are giving us subsidized GPUs. Now there is application, there is RFP out for building LLM. I think government has done more than we had actually asked and even we had imagined government can do that. So government is already doing, right? I think thanks to Honorable Prime Minister and Mighty. So now I think it's all up to us. It's there, infra is there. I think the onus should be on us to really solve the problems and build business around it.
Raghav?
Yeah, I think just one quick thing is deep fundamental research needs to come to our country. I think government's doing a fantastic job. We have the GPU infrastructure. I think the risk capital now needs to come in as well, right? Because it's great to work at the agentic, at the application layer, but at the fundamental layers, I think that's where the next innovation will come in this country.
I think, we've done it before, right? India transformed global finance by creating UPI. Right? And then we did it again by transforming digital identity by creating Aadhaar. I think we're at that cusp of, can we be the country that transforms AI for the world? I think the 1.5 million graduates in engineering that we have every year, right? We need to leverage them really intelligently. And one of the approaches that's being posted around, we are big proponents of it, is India having one open source model, right, that takes the entire engineering community, the best talent of India, in an open source world, everyone building together and building the next foundational model of India, the next sovereign foundational model of India, and then leveraging it for 1.4 billion people. I think if we can take those initiatives quickly, and I think the government is already doing that with Bharat Gen and the India AI mission, but further accelerate them, I think there's nothing that can stop India from being limitless in AI.
So, thank you so much. We have almost run out of time.
A few seconds, I think, right point. So, but if you really want the model, we have Bharat GPT, which is openly available, free for researchers and students in Hugging Face.
Thank you so much. It was an enlightening panel. Thanks a lot for listening to us. AI not only stands for artificial intelligence, it also stands for Aspiring India and Limitless India. Thank you.
Very, very aptly put. Aspiring India. Ladies and gentlemen,